Hey everybody, my name is Sean, I go by Cloud's Nightmare, and I'm coming back today, finally, with my review for the campaign on Halo Infinite. I won't be spoiling the story at all, I'll mostly be covering my feelings regarding the way they brought the game together, the gameplay itself, as well as just the overall feelings I had while I was playing it. I started playing through the campaign immediately at initial release. I wanted to preload it. Microsoft didn't give us that option, so I sat there and started downloading it the second I could, and it felt like it took forever. I played through and completed all of the open world content, as well as the full campaign. It took me a little bit longer than I expected. I ended up spending around 15 or so hours playing through the campaign. The setup for the game is basic, and it follows every previous mainline Halo game. Good guys versus bad guys to save humanity. In the beginning, you go through an almost tutorial section that is disguised as the first mission with set pieces and an epic musical score. That's become almost second nature for people who've played through the other Halo games. After that section, you do get to the open world where things really start to expand in scope. There are a few different activities available to you. Forward operating bases, or FOBs. You defeat the enemies holding these and take them over for the good guys, allowing you to fast travel to and from these locations and spawn vehicles and weapons. There are target hunts, which allow you to hunt down specific bad guys that have modified weapons and a big crew. Once you defeat them, you can spawn those weapons at the FOBs for yourself. There are banished outposts. These are just places on the map that are of strategic value for the war effort, and they're full of enemies and explosions and different steps to actually complete them and take them over. There are propaganda towers all over the place, broadcasting a signal of a grunt making fun of humans, and you can go around and destroy those.
You think the Spartans are gonna save you? Think again. They're dead. All of them. Every one of those towering dorks that set foot on this ring has been eliminated. There's no cavalry riding in, humans. No savior waiting in the wings. Just attrition, followed by submission, followed by, yep, you guessed it, death.
And then there's all the collectibles. There's the Spartan cores, which allow you to upgrade your gadgets. Armor lockers that give you skins and emblems for the multiplayer, which I thought was an awesome idea. Skulls to modify the game, and those are classic. And then there are voice logs with a bunch of background story and lore on them to just really dive deep into the story here. With all of that said, and that was a lot, the map is not overwhelming. It's varied and gives you a decent amount to do, but it feels very manageable the entire way through. Which, for me, was a good thing. After clearing out the last of Assassin's Creed Valhalla this year, I could use a more manageable map from time to time. On the topic of gadgets, you get to use the same ones that are in the multiplayer, except you don't have a limited amount of uses of each one. They just have a cooldown timer in the campaign. So having the grappling hook was incredibly fun. It made me feel like Spider Chief the entire time I would use it. Grappling from tree to tree, I would do that rather than driving vehicles. It was more fun for me. As you gain Spartan cores, you can upgrade those gadgets, and some of them get really powerful and well worth spending the time and effort on. It felt like an actual sense of progression in a Halo game. That was a really cool bit for me. Now, we have to discuss the combat since this is a review. It feels exactly like you think it would. It is the game we wanted it to be, combat-wise. Fantastic gunplay, pushing into hordes of bad guys, with gadgets in tow to tip the balance of each fight in your favor. It is incredibly nostalgic to play through this, with thoughts of my own time with Halo 3. Story-wise, as I said, I won't be spoiling anything. I enjoyed the story more than I expected to. and I was completely okay with how it came together and ended. I will say, if you know nothing of Halo and this is your first campaign, the story won't have the same level of impact on you, and that should be expected coming into the 6th mainline game. There is a lot of lore and callbacks to long-standing relationships throughout the campaigns that they just won't land the same for you. However, it does give you enough backstory to completely understand the story throughout, so it will still make sense and be a fun time. So after clearing a good bit of the main story missions, you'll reach a point of no return. From that point on, it seems to transition back to a standard Halo game for the final few missions of the game. It feels almost disjointed from the rest of the game. That doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. It just felt strange to go from this open world to a corridor shooter out of nowhere. Once you complete those final story missions and finish the campaign, it does set you back down on the Zeta Halo and allow you to complete the rest of the open world content that you may not have finished before that point of no return. It follows the similar guise as Assassin's Creed games and most open world games nowadays, where at the end, it just sets you back down. You can't repeat any story missions at all at this point though, which is annoying. So if you miss any collectibles during those, say, the skulls or the voice logs, you won't be able to go back and get those. You have to start a new game in order to go back for them. And talking about the annoying things, this game feels like it was designed around co-op. Every Halo has had co-op. It is a staple for the Halo series to have that feature. There are 4 weapon spawners at every fob. There are multiple points of interest in most of the missions and activities in the game. You would be able to split those up beautifully during co-op play. I really think they wanted co-op day one and just couldn't swing it due to their difficult development. To me, that really took away from the game. Co-op is one of the best parts of the Halo campaigns. Now in the end, I have to decide whether or not I recommend this game. On the whole, I do. I had an amazing time playing through it. If you're a fan of Halo, or if you're a shooter fan, you're probably already playing through it. If you have Game Pass, I can't recommend it enough. It's definitely worth your time to go download it and give it an hour or two and see if it's a game for you. Do I recommend it for $60? I do. I would rather recommend Game Pass though, because $10 a month for Xbox or PC, or $15 for the Ultimate plan, is an incredible deal. It's probably the best deal in gaming. Hundreds of games, including Halo. Now, what do you guys think? How did 343 handle this game? Do you think they did a good job? Did they bring Halo back? Let me know in the comments. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe.